But we've got to start by looking back and the big story of last night and today, Tottenham Hotspur, who have sacked Thomas Frank after that defeat to Newcastle, which left them just 5 points above the relegation places, without a league win in 8 games now since the turn of the year. We heard Spurs fans singing "Sacked" in the morning at the game last night, Tim. They got their wish. He was sacked at around 10 o'clock this morning. The boos were ringing out. Was this decision, had it become inevitable, do you think?
I thought he was going to stay till the end of the season. I thought there was many opportunities for the club to sack Thomas Frank. He's given them a lot of chances to do it. They stuck with him. But I think the toxic nature of the way it's turned, you know, it's probably, especially the home form when they couldn't win, you know, pay good money to go and watch their team play at home. They're not getting entertained and they're not picking up results. So unfortunately, it become inevitable, especially when they start turning on the hierarchy, the fans. And that was supposedly what happened a little bit last night. So his head's on the block. He's the one who's making all the decisions, and the buck stops with the manager. It always does. But it was a poor performance last night. I mean, give Newcastle credit. They played very well, but they wasn't up against much. It didn't look like a team who believes they're in a relegation battle in Tottenham. But let's face it, they are. They are in a relegation battle, and they need to get it right very, very soon. I think the short-term appointment now is more important than the long-term one, because the long-term options that they might have will not fancy managing Tottenham in the Championship. And it's a reality. I mean, let's face it, you have to get that psyche into them players. A lot of them have come to play mid-table, maybe pushing for Champions League, playing Champions League football, which they've done very well in. Worst case, Europa League. They're in a relegation battle. So when you come to negotiate contracts with Tottenham players, you don't factor in the fact that they might get relegated and then they will have to take half money. So they could have some very expensive Championship players by next season. I don't believe they will. I think there's a lot worse teams than Tottenham. But when you look at the teams who are below them, West Ham is a great example of that. They've got fight. They found some confidence. Should have took more points than they actually have. Can't believe that as a Tottenham man you're looking and hoping that Man United score. It's normally the opposite way round. You know, you're pushing for European Championship, Champions League places, but that is the reality of it. Tottenham fans are looking downwards now rather than upwards, and I think they're quite right to be able to do that.
We'll look at who it might be next. A couple of former Tottenham managers are being linked. Mauricio Pochettino, not the only one. Fourth lowest XG in the Premier League. Going into last weekend, Clinton, and I think back to the defeats against Arsenal not so long ago, Chelsea. They didn't really lay a glove on the opposition in those games. Could it have worked out differently for Frank if he'd gone about the way his team played differently?
Yeah, maybe, possibly, but they've had a lot of injuries to key players. I don't think their recruitment's been anywhere near good enough. I've said that many times. Tim said it. They've probably got better players in the academy, which they could bring through, and they're paying 30, 40 million for players that haven't turned up, ain't been good enough. I think Thomas Frank was always going to be losing when he went toe-to-toe with the fans. I don't think you can go toe-to-toe with the Tottenham fans, complaining about booing some of the players. You need to keep the fans on side. So when the results are not going well, he was always going to be under big pressure, and it's been nowhere near good enough. You always say, well, he's done a great job at Brentford. And can you get that opportunity to go and manage a big club like Tottenham? He's given the opportunity and he hasn't grasped it. I agree with what Tim said. By all the noise that I heard coming out of Tottenham, they were going to keep him to the end of the season and would have kept him. They liked him there. But when the pressure mounts on the hierarchy, what happens is, and the fans start calling and you're not getting results, evidently you've got to make a change because the fans play a big part in it. But yeah, it's a sad situation. Obviously, you want to see Thomas Frank come again. My phone's been going mad because it's going mad now again, saying maybe Tim could get it. I'm buzzing for that. No, I'm only joking. I'm joking,
we'll
but no.
ask that question in
yeah,
a bit.
we will.
I just want to give a bit of touch of the ball before we do. What about the way forward then? Glenn, just before we move forward, actually, no one can deny the job he did at Brentford. We all saw it.
Yeah.
But I've heard people say this shows that he was out of his depth at Tottenham. Is that fair?
No, do you know what? Going back to your point about the XG, I think you've got to give context to it. Yeah. And the likes of Kudos, Maddison, Solanke out for large periods. His main players, Kulusevski, his main creators and his main goal scorer out for a long period. I think that was huge on him. One thing that I don't think he's not up to doing the job at Spurs. I think there's a really bad culture at Spurs. And I think that's what he left at Brentford. It was a culture that he'd created. And it was harmonious, and everyone knew their job. Everyone was comfortable. Whereas I feel as though Spurs, very early on, there was players, I don't think, treat him with the same respect as what he probably deserved. We've seen it on a number of occasions after games, the way the players were. And yeah, I felt for him because I don't think the club's too big for him. I don't think the job's too big for him. I think this group of players at Spurs has seen off a lot of managers.
Did he get the respect he deserved, Danny?
Possibly not. But I think when you look at that, the graphic and the league table come up, their goal difference is -1. Everybody else is sort of like -13, 17, 24. I think even Leeds above them, I think at -9 perhaps was it, but I just saw. So defensively they've done okay at times. They haven't scored enough goals. Yes, they have struggled, as Glenn says. There's been a lot of players out injured. Can Thomas Frank manage a Premiership side? Absolutely, he can. Can he coach? Can he be organised? Yes, we've seen that time and time again. A great job he did at Brentford. So that's not the issue. So probably, Glenn, maybe sort of a toxic culture there already. A new man coming in, I think it'd be interesting to see what, Tim's been in this situation more than all of us, but I think now they almost just need someone to come in and go, you know what, just go and play, lads. Go and enjoy yourself. Try something different. They need 3 or 4 wins to be safe. That's all they need. It's not a huge amount. And I think there's almost like they just need someone to just say, just go and play with freedom, enjoy yourselves. You'll lose a few,
but they
you'll
did
win
that last
enough.
year with Postecoglou.
Well, but I'm just talking about from now until the end of the season, because are they organised under Thomas Frank? They should be, because we've seen him do that at Brentford. We've seen him put players and we've seen him be very tactically aware and everything else. So there's no reason why he's not trying to instill that at Spurs, but something's going wrong. To survive, I think literally they just need, and I've been in that situation, managers have gone towards the end of the season when you're struggling. You need someone to come in and just go, you know what, lads, you're good enough. Give yourself some confidence, just go and play. Go and have a go. We did it at Leeds. We beat Arsenal, penultimate game of the season. Viduka and Kuehl turned up, that day and just absolutely ripped Arsenal apart. And Arsenal were going for the title, that day. They've got the players. Something's just not right. And maybe it is that culture.
Tim, you've worn the shoes. You've done this job before. And a lot of people are saying, give it Tim till the end of the season. Fancy it?
I think it was an honour for me to manage that football club, but it would be an honour for me to manage them again. I can do the job. I've proved I can do the job. So what they can't do is make a mistake with this appointment. So they need to 100%. I'm 50-1 gives me absolutely zero chance.
Sorry about the timing of that.
Each way bet.
But no, but that just shows you that there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that because it might not be sexy enough. It might be that I talk too much and I've got too much of a personality for that hierarchy. Possibly. I'm just surmising because if you look at what I did when I went in there for the job, I did the job. I did the job, what I was asked to do, win more games than lose. And my home record was excellent as well. I played on the front foot. Forget how you're going to play in this situation at the moment. They need to win. It doesn't matter how you play, you just need to win. Danny's absolutely spot on. You need to take the shackles off this group of players, give them a little confidence, and make sure that they're prepared for a relegation battle. When I look through that squad, I would probably hang my hat on about 5 of them to have a fight down there. They're not ready for a fight at the moment when you look from the outside. Now there's going to have to be a lot of them players unrecognisable to what you've seen under Thomas Frank for them to have a positive end to the season. Because, a bit similar to what Michael Carrick's done, a lot of the players who are playing for Michael Carrick now, under Ruben Amorim, you wouldn't recognise them.
So you think he arm around the shoulder rather than a rocket, or everyone's different?
Both. I think they need both, but they need discipline in there. You can't have the players taking over the asylum. You cannot allow that. You cannot have Romero coming out talking towards the club. You can't. It's more negativity. And at the end of the day, the only thing that is important is the game and the results. Forget everything else. We can deal with that when it's downtime. Now it's game time, and now it's serious. So they need to get results. But this appointment is crucial. They 100% need to get this right. We know the long-term appointment is Pochettino. We all know that's going to happen. He's not going to get a better job than Tottenham Hotspur. The fans love him. The clamour is unbelievable for Pochettino to come in. So this is a 12-game job plus the Champions League games for any manager. There won't be many putting their hand up for this. and it's a fantastic club. But in the short term, any manager in a job now will not take it. It's impossible for them to overlook Mauricio Pochettino at the end of the season. Impossible. Because you know why? For the new man, there'll be too much pressure coming in. Because he loses 2 games. All the Tottenham fans, you should have given it to Mauricio. It's almost impossible, nigh on impossible for them to overlook Pochettino. He will be the man for the summer when USA finally come out of the World Cup. For now, it could be anyone's, but it's not many to choose from.
By the way, you're sexy enough for Soccer Special.
Thank you.
That's not a compliment you wanted to hear, particularly.
Can I just say, not ruled himself out yet. No.
What about you, Clinton? Long term, then.
Clinton's not getting it.
I don't want. I don't want to. I don't want to manage that football club. No disrespect.
That's not what the question was.
Yeah, but I'm not good enough to manage that. That's a big football club.
I mean, the point he made about Pochettino, the first thing he would have is the fans on board.
Yeah, Pochettino for me stands out. I don't know if we can get the list up there again, you're talking about that for the end of the season. You're not talking about those for now for interim.
Next manager, that's how it's worded.
Well, interim. I'm telling you now, Robbie Keane. I know Keano personally. Keano's not coming in and doing it for 3 or 4 months.
So
this is next permanent.
So Deserby's favourite right now.
Heisinger next permanent manager.
Yeah, Heisinger. That's not right then, because Heisinger, he went to Ajax and he flopped at Ajax. So how you can come to a club like Tottenham? I know he's there as a coach at the moment. Then I totally understand it. Glasner. Would he fit into their style of... I don't think... The 3-4-3... I don't know if Oliver Glasner at a club like Tottenham. Marco Silva is probably a good shout. I do think he's done a fantastic job at Fulham. And then the 2 underneath. For interim, for me personally, I ain't saying that because I work with Tim, but I understand what Tottenham are going to do. Pochettino, for me, is the clear favourite. So you can't get him now because he's at the World Cup. If you want someone to go in and shake that football club up, and he's like that because I've worked with him for many years, and he will go in there. I ain't saying that because he's here and he's my mate, but why not someone like him or a Harry Redknapp? They know the club inside out, and the players need it. The discipline at that football club is nowhere near good. Now, I'm not saying all the players. I'm saying, but your captain, now he misses 4 games, keep getting sent off, talking about the hierarchy. He will do that, Tim. He'll put an arm around the shoulder, tell you you're good, and he'll get them playing because that's what they need at this moment in time. But long term, for me, there's only one candidate, and that's Pochettino. I think all Tottenham fans would want him come the end of the season.
Another name to pick out there in that list was Robbie Keane, fans' favourite at Spurs. Glenn, he's been doing good work out in Hungary at Ferencváros.
Yep.
How well does that prepare you for the situation Spurs are in now?
For right now, I don't think Robbie Keane would take the job. I think it's a very difficult job to take right now if you want to be long term. For me, they need an authoritarian in the football club that like the lads have said, puts an arm around people, but they're in a fight without any doubt. Whether they've got the stomach for this fight, who knows? But hopefully for Spurs, their quality can see them through at the end of the season. But I think next term, obviously, the boys have said about Pochettino, I think De Zerbi is a perfect candidate.
Me too, 100%.
He really... What he would do with the fan base, he would galvanise them, and he would bring them into the football club. The way he does his kind of his press conferences, it's all towards the fans. And for him, it's about fans. That is ultimate. So football clubs. So we've went so far away.
Take it now, then, Mazza. Why would he not take it right now?
Why would he take it now?
So why are you going to wait to the summer?
Because he's got a good name. Why would you even think?
But why are you going to wait to the summer? Because the opportunity might have come in.
Then it doesn't. But what I think is right. I think a football club, and we've gone so far away from this. It's a representation of the local community. That's what it is effectively. And that's what Roberto De Zerbi harnesses really, really well. So I think, and for me at Spurs, the fans are some of the biggest problem. I've seen all sorts of managers in that football club. I've seen defensive managers, I've seen attacker managers, I've seen someone in the middle in Thomas Frank, and they've never been happy, and they've won a Europa League. Do you know what I mean? So what do they want? So I think someone that appeals to the fans like him and can galvanise them, I think would be ideal.
There's one problem, he's never getting the job. Because I don't think they would...
Too volatile.
They would not entertain...
The hierarchy.
No.
That's what you mean by that, Tim, the hierarchy. Yeah.
Prickly. He's prickly, I love him for that. That's what I'd want as a fan. Yeah. I want someone who's going to play an open game on the front foot, no matter who he's playing against. We saw his Marseille side go playing against Liverpool. Wide open the pitch. Tottenham fans want to see that stuff. Yeah. But now's not the time for that.
No, but end of the season?
End of the season, yes. But like I say, would he go there with Mauricio breathing down his neck? Zero chance. Because, like I say, as soon as he loses 1 or 2 games, the fans will start again. You should have given it to Mauricio.
Where's
safe
the
bet.
upside, Tim, for a new manager going in now?
No chance.
That wants a long-term job?
Yeah.
Because you survive. You finish 15th, 14th at best.
Yeah.
Are you going to win the Champions League? No. Realistically, you're not going to win that. So what's the upside of taking the job now? Well, you've survived. You've got loads of players out injured. So you've got no strikers. You've got no forward players at the moment. You've got to go in there and you've got to turn around a toxic dressing room, what it looks like, very, very quickly.
Yeah.
All those managers that are looking at the job long term will be thinking, I'm waiting until the summer.
Yeah.
There's no benefit to going in. So unless you're desperate for a job or you want to help the club out or whatever, you've got a connection, you're not going to go and do that job right now. Because there's no benefit for you.
Here's one for you, Jules.
Yep.
End of the season, Manchester United don't take Michael Carrick. He could go there.
Very good.
Heard it here first then, don't they?